Hey Tech Tribe, welcome to the Thursday edition of Tech Stocks Daily. Today we dive into the legal drama shaking Google in India, dissect Supermicro's trifecta of class action lawsuits, and break down Apple's lukewarm iPhone 16 launch. We're talking stock advice, courtroom drama, and market moves. Buckle up, because we're also looking at Endava's multiple legal battles and what it all means for tech investors. Get your caffeine ready. It's going to be a juicy, info-packed ride. Hey tech aficionados, buckle up, because today's deep dive is all about Google's ongoing legal showdown in India. That's right, the Mountain View giant is battling it out with the Competition Commission of India, and things are heating up in the Supreme Court. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what's going down. So what's the tea? Well, Google's in the hot seat over alleged anti-competitive practices related to its Android mobile operating system. The whole saga kicked off on March 29th last year, when the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, basically India's antitrust police, served Google a mixed verdict. They upheld a whopping rupees 1,337.76 crore fine against Google, but they did toss out a requirement for Google to host third-party app stores on its Play Store. Mixed blessing? Anyone? As you can imagine, both Google and CCI saw room to appeal this decision. The CCI wants to uphold tighter restrictions, while Google is fervently hoping for some relief. Enter the Supreme Court, stage left. The bench, which includes Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Misra, is now tasked with sorting out the mess. And according to Google's senior advocate Harish Salve, the arguments may stretch on for 5-6 days. 6 days of courtroom drama? It's like the Netflix series we didn't know we needed. To recap, Google initially got smacked with this colossal fine back in October 2022 for leveraging its dominant market position unfairly. They were accused of twisting OEMs' arms into pre-installing a suite of Google apps, none of which users could delete. Sneaky, right? The tribunal's verdict did ease some of these restrictions, affirming that users should be able to pick their default search engine during the initial setup, and making it clear that OEMs shouldn't be forced to pre-install Google's app bouquet. And guess what? The story doesn't stop there. Google was required to cough up this penalty within 30 days of the verdict, after adjusting for a 10% prepayment they made in January. They were ripping Band-Aid off fast. But this isn't just about fines and restrictions. The Supreme Court has appointed lawyer Samir Bansal as the nodal counsel to collaboratively prepare digital pleadings from both sides. Think of him as the referee in this match of legal gladiators. Bansal's role is to streamline the mountain of paperwork involved, turning it into something even the judges can digest with ease. We can't forget the global implications here. Countries around the world are scrutinizing big tech for limiting competition, and Google's actions in India are on the radar everywhere. Just like Apple in Europe or Meta Platforms Inc., regulatory bodies are clamping down on monopolistic tendencies. It's a domino effect, and India is right there, pushing over the first tile. Stay tuned as we watch this high-stakes game unfold. Google's moment of reckoning in India could set precedents affecting tech giants all around the world. Courtroom drama at its finest, folks. Grab your popcorn. Hey tech enthusiasts, we've got some wild headlines today, especially if you're following Supermicro Computer Inc. If you're an investor in SMCI, this will definitely catch your attention. Time to buckle up. So why all the buzz around Supermicro Computer today? It was a trifecta of legal drama, with not just one, not two, but 3 significant securities class action updates hitting the news. These class action lawsuits allege that SMCI was involved in some seriously shady business practices leading to hefty stock price drops. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty. First off, we have Levi and Korsinski LLP rallying investors for a class action lawsuit against SMCI. They're urging shareholders who suffered losses between February 2nd, 2021 and August 28, 2024 to join. Here's the backstory. Hindenburg Research dropped a bombshell report on August 27, 2024, outlining glaring accounting red flags, evidence of undisclosed related party transactions, sanction violations, and customer issues. This was a big deal, big enough to send SMCI's stock price tumbling 21.16% in just 2 days, from $562.5143.49 per share. Next in the Square office to take action is Faruqi and Faruqi LLP. They're investigating potential claims and have set a deadline for investors, October 29, 2024. Their complaint paints a damning picture of SMCI's alleged wrongdoings, including consistent overreporting of sales and underreporting of expenses, rehiring of executives linked to past accounting scandals, undisclosed related parties, and failures to cease exporting products to restricted areas amid the Russia-Ukraine war. According to them, this all contributed to that stark stock slide in late August. Lastly, claims filer chimed in, reminding investors of that same October 29th deadline to file for lead plaintiff roles in these class action lawsuits. Their announcement leans on the severity of Hindenburg's report, entitled Supermicro, Fresh Evidence of Accounting Manipulation, Sibling Self-Dealing, and Sanctions Evasion at this AI High Flyer. They emphasize the 3 related cases that have emerged, which seek to hold SMCI accountable for these severe violations. The big picture? All these legal players are calling on folks who took financial hits from this volatility to stand up and seek some justice, and possibly a share of any financial recovery. To smooth the process, they're offering to represent clients without upfront costs, which is certainly a tempting offer for anyone left tallying losses from this roller coaster of events. So, while Supermicrocomputer, Inc. might be a titan in the tech world, today, it's their legal battles monopolizing the headlines. Whether you're an investor weighing your options or a curious onlooker, it's a saga well worth following. Stay tuned and keep those portfolios under a watchful eye, folks. Hey tech aficionados, buckle up because we've got some juicy news on Endava PLC lighting up the NASDAQ today. If you thought tech companies only dealt with code and algorithms, think again, because lawsuits have entered the chat. Endava PLC, a major player known for its technology services across various verticals like consumer products, healthcare, mobility, and retail, is dealing with different law firms who've decided to throw their hats into the ring. Looks like it's courtroom season. First up, Levi and Korsinski. Levi and Korsinski LLP has reminded Endava investors of a pending class action lawsuit with the looming lead plaintiff's deadline of October 25, 2024. This lawsuit targets Endava over alleged securities fraud, stretching back to activities between May 23, 2023 and February 28, 2024. The core allegations? That Endava officials allegedly made false statements about the health of their business. Specifically, it's claimed they downplayed declining demand for the company's services, project cancellations by clients, and the ominous impact these setbacks would have on the company's revenue and earnings. That rose-tinted outlook, they say, was more fantasy than fact. Enter Faruqi and Faruqi. Not to be outdone, the law firm Faruqi and Faruqi LLP has also jumped into the fray. Their particular investigation sticks Endava in the same time frame, but with a higher threshold, encouraging those who took a hit of losses exceeding $100,000 to give them a call. They echo similar accusations: false statements, concealment of adverse facts, and a hefty drop in stock price once the truth hit the market. Surprise, surprise, the day after announcing disappointing financial results, Endava stock dropped a steep 42%. For those keeping score, that's a wallet lightener if ever there was one. Not so fast. Robbins, Geller, Rudman, and Dowd. Rounding out our legal triumvirate, we have Robbins, Geller, Rudman, and Dowd LLP. They also filed a class action lawsuit extending the already mentioned decline in financials and stock price. They specifically emphasize Endava's reported revenue drop for Q2 2024 and subsequent full fiscal year downgrade, confirmed in a statement by Endava themselves. Robbins, Geller is pushing the idea that the company's chatter about business and operations was less a tech triumph and more like plugging leaks on a sinking ship. Key takeaways. So what does this trifecta of lawsuits mean? Essentially, Endava supporters are getting bombarded with opportunities to get in on SEC lawsuits if they incurred losses. All three firms underscore the need for transparency and truthful reporting, pretty vital in a sphere where stocks can soar or dive based on a single earnings call. Final thoughts. It's a rough patch for Endava, who now finds itself squaring off with three heavy hitters in the legal world. For the shareholders, this is an urgent call to evaluate their investments and maybe even join the battle. Long story short, never underestimate the combo punch of SEC regulations and legal firms ready to pounce. Stay tuned, because who needs Netflix drama when you have real-world corporate sagas? Hey tech enthusiasts, buckle up because today's segment is all about Apple sizzling in the news recently. And oh yes, there are some spicy details to dive into. First off, Apple might need to change its tune because the demand song for the iPhone 16 is a bit off-key. Analyst Laura Martin from Needham pointed out that the company's revenue growth just isn't as lively as investors hoped. Now, we're all about the iPhone hype, but there's a looming concern about when we'll actually see the much-awaited iPhone replacement supercycle. Whether it's the iPhone 16, 17, or 18, no one's quite sure yet. And let's be real, iPhone sales are Apple's crown jewels, making up a chunky 50% of their overall revenue. No wonder investors are twitchy. Martin also zeroes in on Apple's dawdling pace in launching their GenAI, also known as Apple Intelligence. With the big A churning out ads left, right, and center, Martin suggests that Apple should snatch a page from that playbook. Imagine Apple raking in ad revenues akin to Netflix. With 44.8 million viewers, Martin predicts a cool $5.5 million in advertisement revenue for Apple in fiscal 2024. That might just be the green turn we all are eager to see in Apple's balance sheets. Now let's switch gears to the newest iPhone reveal. The iPhone 16 has stepped onto the stage with its usual show of flair, yet the investors are giving it a meh reaction. Better battery life? Check. Enhanced camera? Check again. A fancy new button for quicker camera access? All right, check. The pièce de resistance is the upgraded A18 chip that unlocks the magic of Apple Intelligence. But guess what? Even the older iPhone 15 Pro will lap up these AI goodies through the cloud. Talk about a split excitement there. The AI rollout might stretch all the way till next year, and that adds a little suspense. Will consumers flock to upgrade for AI-led conveniences like digital assistants and image creation? Hard to tell, especially when services like ChatGPT are already flashing their charms without needing a phone upgrade. Investors were hoping for a hurrah that would jet fuel Apple into a new upgrade supercycle. But alas, it seems the new iPhone launch was more like a drizzle in what was expected to be a storm. With the broader economic climate looking shaky, these modest upgrades might not be the catalyst Apple desperately needs to swing its revenue back up. Don't despair though, Apple aficionados. The tech behemoth has a strong, loyal customer base. True, this launch might not cause immediate market ripples, but patience could be the game changer. Apple's stock, though lagging a bit behind the S&P 500, still holds promise for long-term investors. Immediate gains might be sluggish, but long-term prospects look sturdy and sweet. Think of it as investing in a fine wine. It needs time to mature, but the payoff can be oh so delightful. All right, folks, I threw plenty of apples at you today, and now it's your turn to juggle them. What are your thoughts on Apple's iPhone 16 launch? Do you think Apple should jump into the advertising pool? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get the conversation buzzing. Let's talk about Apple, my fellow tech enthusiasts. Given the latest news, would I sell, buy, or hold the stock? Drumroll, please. I'd say hold. Here's why. Apple remains a tech behemoth, and even though this iPhone 16 news feels lukewarm for immediate stock gains, Apple's long-term prospects are still robust. Let's face it, this company has a devoted customer base, a strong brand, and a history of innovation. Sure, the demand for the iPhone 16 hasn't ignited like a 4th of July firecracker, but it's still a reliable revenue machine. Analyst Laura Martin highlights slowed revenue growth and a delay in their GenAI launch, which could leave investors antsy. But let's not forget, Apple is flirting with ad revenues, and that's a juicy possibility. If they can harness even a fraction of what other giants make in advertising, we're talking about billions added to that sweet balance sheet. Short term, the stock might not make your portfolio do a happy dance, but Apple's long-term outlook remains promising. They're not just a one-product company, they're an ecosystem. So holding on might not yield instant gratification, but patience could pay off big time when those GenAI benefits and potential ad revenue streams start flowing. And let's be real, switching to a buy right now could be a bit premature if you're looking for that ideal entry point. Sell-offs based on market overreactions could provide more opportunistic buys down the line. On the flip side, a sell move could mean missing out on future gains once Apple pivots creatively around these current challenges. And remember, folks, this is just one techie's take. Do your own research and consider consulting with a financial advisor to tailor decisions to your specific situation. Your financial health should be your top priority. So what's your next move with Apple stock? Are you holding like it's the precious ring from Lord of the Rings, or thinking of cashing out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Man, what a wild ride today was on the NASDAQ. From Google's intense legal battles in India's Supreme Court to Supermicro's expo of class action lawsuits, Endava's trifecta of courtroom combat, and Apple's lukewarm iPhone 16 launch, it's clear that tech giants aren't just duking it out in the marketplace. They're also stirring up plenty of legal and stock turbulence too. If you enjoyed the breakdown and want to stay savvy on all things tech, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with your fellow tech enthusiasts. Don't miss out. Come back tomorrow for your daily dose of tech news and insights.